Pixie Hollow was, and still is, a very great game. It's been around for 5 years, and we had several months of Fairy ABC as well. That means that things have obviously changed throughout these years. I'm doing my video of the worst updates before the one with the best updates because I want to save the positive stuff for later. Throughout the years, Disney did add some things that were disliked by the community. Whether the reasons were understandable or not, well, most of the reasons for the changes were understandable. These are 10 updates Disney made that were disappointing. What I find to be the 10th worst update is changing the loading screen. This is the earliest update on this list. In the early days of Pixie Hollow, the loading screen showed your fairy flying around in beautiful scenery with a beautiful sound effect as well. Then, the loading screen quickly turned into the boring blinking star one we still have today. I don't know why it changed. Maybe the new one was cheaper to run because Pixie Hollow is an expensive game, you know. The reason why this is in the bottom of the list is because the old loading screen was around for such a short time that many Pixie Hollow players didn't experience it, and many don't remember it anymore actually. And this loading screen didn't affect the game really, unlike some of the higher things on the list. The 9th worst update is this one party shop update from 2012. Originally, before that, you can choose the reward of the party games. There are several packs of each game. Each one gives you a different set of ingredients as a reward. Around the time of the Sister Celebration, those packs just were removed and just had one game set, which similar to the other multiplayer games, it rewards you with a common ingredient that changes every season. I kind of like choosing the reward better because it feels more like you're planning your own party. Yeah. And also, it gives you the ability to play games when there's no party, which kind of defeats the purpose of having parties. And it also released tea room games, which I'm not really into because I feel like tea room games should be played in the tea room. But other people have played tea room games in their homes, so this isn't a bad update at all. Yeah, this update wasn't intentionally bad, and I was okay with it. It's just the ability to choose words was kind of removed. Yeah, this update is slow on the list because the other ones are worse, and again, I don't really mind I don't really mind the other ones except for removing the ability to change the reward. But even with that, it's still not as bad as some of the other one. And also, this update gave 4 new party decorations based on the seasons, and those decorations were awesome. The number 8 worst update is removing some of the shops. The changes of removing some of the shops, such as the dye shops, Gavin's gear, all of that stuff, these changes honestly didn't really bother me, but they did bother a lot of people. Some of the shops have been changed, while others, such as 3 of the dye shops and Gavin's gear, have been removed. People had many great memories of these shops, and I kind of like having one dye shop in each season. But I'm pretty sure Disney merged them because it's easier to have a one-stop shop for dyes, for both convenience and for money for the company, because I honestly found it easier to have one shop for one dyes, even though it was cooler to have 4 dye shops. The main problem with the shop removal is that the memories were removed as well, but I like the new shops as well too. The only shop change I'm mad about is the Brooks Basics change, because that was the only shop non-members could go to. Other people are mad about the shop changes because some of the non-diamond shops are changed into diamond shops. But hey, it would have been worse if Summit Style had been changed to a diamond shop, and the shops that they did change into diamond shops actually weren't the worst choices. Like, it would have been worse if Summit Style was changed into a diamond shop. But, like, I get why the diamond shops are diamond shops, because you can buy special things like gardening, like just special things. So, yeah, I'm not really mad about the shop changes, but other people don't like them, which is why it's on this spot on this list. Number 7 is when they changed the Pixie postings in 2009. Now, I can live with the new Pixie postings, but I really like the old one better because there are more sections. Like, I miss the old columns like Featured Batch and Home Sweet Home. They also occasionally had leaf layering message which you can decode with a printable decoder. I don't know why they changed the Pixie postings, but I like some of the new changes as well, like the countdown to next season and the pocket watch at the Pixie Standard Time. It would be perfect if there was a Pixie posting with the good new changes, as well as the amount of columns in the old pages and the amount of variety. So yeah, I like the new stuff, but I miss the old sections as well. You probably thought this 2009 update was going to be closer to number 1, but let me explain why I don't think this update was bad at first. I like the idea of having your fairy's arrival day being like Tink's arrival, with the arrival gown and everything. Back then they still had all the hair options, and everyone got a simple talent-colored outfit in Brooks Basics, which even non-members can buy. However, the reason why this is on the list is because the clothing option from the Creative Fairy was removed. I'm okay with the clothing limitations because Disney needs money, but it's disappointing how you can't choose your outfit and be creative before you even start the game. Like, non-members could at least get a few more items. My favorite part of the International Creative Fairies was creating the outfit, actually. This update does limit fun and creativity a bit, but I understand this update and can bear with it. And I personally like the idea of having your fairies arrival day be like Tinkerbell's. And back then, they still had the hair options, and you still got a nice outfit. There used to be much more codes in the old Pixie Hollow. The items were cool as well. I don't know why most of the items were removed. Only a few of the secret code items were kept, and many of the old codes led to that item. Disney did add new codes, but there are way more items that disappeared for no reason. Also, the huge variety of codes meant non-members could have way more items. They didn't even have to buy products with Pixie Passes, as they could look up the codes online. The newer Pixie Pass codes can't really be found online for some reason, but I kind of like how they can't be found online because you have to like buy the toy to get the item, because if you see someone with the item, it shows that they have the toy, which is cool. But it's really disappointing that many of the old Pixie Hollow items that non-members could have were removed. Clickables was a line of toys that could give you rare items as well as a butterfly that can fly with your fairy for a limited time. I don't really know why they discontinued the toys, but hey, that's what businesses do. They do things for money. This was kind of disappointing that Clickables was discontinued, as I collected the charms and had the fairy game, so I had some of these Clickables items. The update was mainly just a fun memory going away, because I remember when all I wanted for Christmas was Clickables charms. Now I can't get them, which was sad. What's even worse is that some of the rare Clickables items get released in shops for everyone to buy. I had great memories with Clickables. I felt so cool for having these rare charm-specific items. So that update was kind of sad, but hey. Okay, now we're getting to the updates that just affect overall gameplay for the worse. In November 2011, the Never Council announced that all accounts created after the update will only have one fairy, and they also removed the ability to delete fairies. They said the update was to make room for new features. If I was a little kid during this update, I would be so disappointed because half the fun of the game for me back then was creating new fairies and deleting old ones. I think limiting to just one fairy is worse than having the ability to worse than removing the ability to delete fairies, because having 3 fairies just triples the fun of the game and reduces boredom in the Hollow. You can take care of 3 animal friends, decorate 3 homes, and do each of the quests 3 times. The fun was just removed when the update comes out, and some people create 2nd and 3rd fairies so the game can feel fresh again. The update was also a source of non-member discrimination because while the Member accounts created before the update got to keep their spots. Unused spots from non-member accounts were removed, which is unfair. Well, there are two worse updates to this because many of the accounts created before the update didn't want to delete their 3 fairies, so they didn't really experience a major change. You could also create other accounts with other fairies, even though they would be non-member accounts, and it wasn't as easy as before. But I hope the 3 fairies for account come back in Fairy ABC, because I'd much rather just have one account with 3 different characters I could create different outfits and homes for and such. The second worst update is the 2010 non-member limitation update, which is what I call it. Many of Pixie Hollow's worst updates I realize have to do with money problems, therefore forcing people to buy a membership. This one update in the summer of 2010 was a sign that not having a membership, that problem started to get really bad. One good thing about this update is that it did add Group Whisper, but the other additions were just horrible. It split the games into 4 categories of levels, which obviously isn't bad, but they only allowed non-members to play the easy level. Luckily, non-members were allowed to play all the categories of levels later in 2012, but this was still just horrible. And if that wasn't bad enough, they limited the badges non-members could earn. These updates just took away the fun for non-members. Before that, non-members already can't do much, but this update would just make them bored in the Hollow. Before that, they could at least try to earn badges and have just as much fun as a member, but that update was just a little desperate. I'm glad they kind of fixed it in 2012. Yeah. I personally see 2010 and 2011 as the strictest years for non-members. This update was also when the Creative Fairy got worse. That simple, talent-colored outfit from Brooks Basics turned boring white, and it didn't really look that different from the Arrival dress. It was even worse is that hair choices were limited to a few short hair backs and hair fronts. Just wow. You could at least keep that long, simple hair back that was originally the first choice. I know it makes sense that fairies would arrive in their arrival dress and then they expand their wardrobe from there, but not all fairies arrive with short hair, and they barely even wear their arrival dress. You could at least make that other dress the talent color. Yeah, I know Disney needs money, but this is just way too out there. After all I've said, and you probably experienced this and you probably were mad about it, yeah, there's an update that's way worse than this, and I'm pretty sure you can all agree that it's the worst update once I read it. Pixie Hollow's worst update, which will always be the worst update, is when Pixie Hollow closed. That moment was literally the worst moment of my life. Whether you count this as an update or not, I'm absolutely sure everyone can agree that this was horrible and totally deserves the #1 spot. I'd much rather play an expensive Pixie Hollow than not play Pixie Hollow at all. When Fairy ABC opened, it was so happy. My life changed with making Pixie Hollow videos being a hobby. Similar to now, Pixie Hollow was a hobby that my life basically revolved around. And in 2013, it all closed. My life drastically changed. This was the end of getting excited for upcoming events, chatting with famous fairies while waiting for dinner, and spending hours decorating my home or doing quests. This update also separated amazing friendships, which is probably the worst part about Pixie Hollow's closure. That's why I'd like to thank Wind Muddle so much for improving my life for the better with Fairy ABC. And I'm much happier now than last year because I'm spending my free time making videos rather than being bored. No matter how many negative things Pixie Hollow decides to add, it will still always be my favorite game. Because I don't like negativity, my next top 10 will be about Pixie Hollow's best updates. Fly with you later!